Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel BBC World News. In today's video, we will share with you latest news. Wars of 2024 brought together rival but created new enemies. This has been one of the most eventful years since I began covering global security for the reporter. In the aftermath of the 11 September attack in 2001, the sudden toppling of Syria President Assad, North Korea soldier fighting for Russia, British and US missile sent to Ukraine and fired at Russia, Iranian missile shipped to Russia, US armed Israel airstrike in Lebanon and Gaza, Yemeni missile fired at Israel. It's complex and confusing web of conflicts, and it prompts the inevitable question: are the world battle line becoming even more interconnected? Let's get one thing straight: if this is not World War III, although President Putin does like to dangle that menace to scare the West away from sending and more powerful weapon to Ukraine. But it's clear that many of the conflicts on our planet have an international dimension. So how do these lines join up? We can start with the war that has been raging in the east of Europe across Ukraine since 24 February 2022, and Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in the failed bid to take over the whole country. Ukraine vs Russia, Europe war on our doorstep. They are not completely aware that they are coming here to die. It will be a huge surprise for them. Ruston knocked in Achilles battalion Ukrainian armed forces. Lurid media reports the inexperienced North Korean troops newly arrived on the battlefield are going on turn upon something unavailable to them in their own close hermit state cannot mask that fact. Their involvement in the European war in a serious evaluation, serious enough to promote the US and other Western countries to lift their ban on Ukraine using Western long-range missile to attack targets deep inside Russia, provoking fury in the Kremlin. Areas of Russian military control in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine was already internationalized long before the North Koreans showed up. Belarus, a nominally independent European nation, but now almost completely in step with Moscow, used as a launch pad to the attack Ukraine. Only on the month following its 2022 invasion, Iran has been supplying Russia the Shahad explosive tipped drones, and more recently the Islamic Republic has been accused of shipping powerful ballistic missiles to Russia across the Caspian Sea. And the West has hardly had been a bystander in the conflict. A massive one-way pipeline to the US, NATO and EU assistance, both financial and military, has enabled Ukraine to largely hold off the Russian army until now. What we are seeing is fundamental imbalance of approaches, said the reporter. Ukraine expect Vitali Shevchenko. The West policy of caution and containment has imposed limitation on what Ukraine can do. Moscow appear concerned about the conflict expanding and possibly even key for it to do so. Middle East, a chessboard splendid. The complexity of this region frankly makes the Ukraine war look straightforward because there were several conflicts in this region, all either raging or dormant and all going on at the same time. But first, an important severe, contrary to the impression we are often get via the world media, most of Middle East is not a war. Day-to-day life in places like Dubai, Saudi Arabia and Egypt goes as a normal, untouched by the threat of war. Even in countries that have recently experienced conflict in some form like Iraq and Iran, life is largely peaceful for most people. Syria under new management, almost no one saw this one coming. Not Syria now Department President Bashar al-Assad nor his backer in Tehran, Moscow and South Beirut, or it seems American multi-billion-dollar intelligence community. In the space of less than a fortnight, a coalition at Islamic rebel known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham were designated as terrorist organization. The UN, US, EU and UK managed to break out of their stronghold in northwest Syria and seize city after city until they have now become Syrian new rulers. This is so much more than just a localized single country event. It has several international strands to it. Gaza, endless conflict. This situation in Gaza is nothing short of tragic. The latest conflict 3 was triggered by the raid led by Hamas into southern Israel on 7 October 2023, in which more than 100,000 people were killed and around 2,050 taken into Gaza as hostages. Since then, Israel war on Hamas has resulted in more than 4,000 Palestinians being killed there. Today, 15 months into this war, much of Gaza lies in ruins. More than a million people have been displaced of the multiple times out of population of 2.4 million. Many of those are living in miserable conditions, in tents plagued by snakes, scorpions and scabies in their summer and battered by the weather in the winter. Iran and its proxies. Iran supports a number of allied or proxy militants around the Middle East, giving them money, weapons and training through Quds Forces, a branch of the Iran Revolutionary Guards Corps, known by Iran as the Axis of Resistance in Lebanon. For years now, the strongest military force has not been National Army or the UN peacekeepers stationed in the south. It has Hezbollah, a militant force armed by Iran with advanced missile and rocket. Israel has been fighting on multiple fronts. Israel is at the with Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and has been missile and has been attacked from Iran, Yemen, Syria and Iraq. The US has continued to supply Israel with a colossal amount of military set, both defensive, such as the THAAD missile missile defense and offensive weapons such as the part for the F-35 aircraft, despite the killing so many Palestinians in Gaza and almost universal worldwide opprobrium. Africa, Moscow, new backyard. Russia may have lost its Mediterranean ally Syria, but it still has a big one of the farm of the Libya Marshal Khalifa. In Benghazi, Russian Air Force cards planes have recently been seen flying into Libyan airstrip, both on the coast and inland, and the place called Brak. Moscow clearly sees Cyprus as both as the springboard for projecting its global reach in the Mediterranean and also an staging post of its mercenary activity further south in Sudan and the Sahel. North Korea, a sanction-busting partnership. South Korea is worried there is no such thing as free lunch, the saying goes, and Seoul is now wondering just what bargaining will be continuing from Moscow in return from the dispatching all 2,000 of the North Korean soldiers to Russia was effort in Ukrainian, will it be missile technology, nuclear know-how, submarine or satellite assistance. Up until now, South Korea has carefully avoided sending the military kit directly to the Ukraine, sending it instead to the US to replace kit which then gets on the Ukrainian. But South Korea, which has an advanced military industrial base, is now considering lifting this ban and sending equipment directly to Kyiv. Taiwan and China when naughty. This is not yet a conflict, but it is a major potential flashpoint. While the West spent for first 20 years of this country preoccupied with fighting insurgency in Iraq and Afghanistan, China quietly colonized strategic refuge in international water in the South China. 2024's big picture. This was the year that the balance of power in the Middle East shifted dramatically in Israel's favor, and Iran its disadvantage. The Israel government has clearly decided to go all out to neutralize its enemy, be they in Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen, or Syria. Red line previously adhered to by both Iran and Israel have now been crossed, with the through side trading missile indirect attack on each other from the first time. But so what next? There will likely to be a concerted effort by the incoming Trump administration to force a peace deal in Ukraine. This may well stumble at the first trial. President Putin has already made his term clear, and they amount to virtual capitulation for Kyiv, so will be largely unacceptable there even for Ukraine's exact population. But if Trump turns off the tap of US weaponry, then Europe cannot possibly make them the shortfall, leaving Ukraine weaker and even more prone to Russia attack in their air and on the ground. Some kind of messy case-fire deal may be the least painful of all options for Ukraine, even though it does not trust Putin's word. There is talk of a grand bargain that sees Saudi Arabia finally recognize the state of Israel in exchange for a binding security deal with Washington, but the Saudi have made clear this can only happen if there is a clear, irrevocable path through an independent Palestinian state. This is something that Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu is vehemently opposed to, and Israeli settlers seizing of Palestinian land continues pace, and with President Trump in the White House, it's likely to continue further. His arrival on the international stage is one of the reasons why 2025 could be no less eventful than 2024. Get your daily close of entertainment. Subscribe today for new videos every day. Thanks for watching. For more, have a nice time. Goodbye.